Hey, what up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you. Today I was going to be going through my TNA Bound for Glory DVD collection to get everybody hyped up for tomorrow's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. It's going to be a little bit harder to get pumped up for this year's Bound for Glory, seeing how TNA didn't really put any emphasis behind the pay-per-view until last night's show, and they were just basically naming off matches that had nothing to do with what was going on TV. It's almost like some sort of an exhibition with TNA guys going up against guys from Japan that we've never seen before. You would think if there was some sort of a build for this show, they would be putting the Japanese guys on television. But the way TNA is right now, they don't really have the money to be flying those people over and putting them on TV. Maybe they could have done some sort of tape matches where the guys wrestled each other, and then TNA mailed the tape over, and they would air that on Spike TV. But maybe that's just the way of the past. But to go through the TNA DVD collection, maybe you guys are going to keep up to date on your DVD collection and want to see the ones that are out there. My biggest tip for you guys is head over to the Black November sale if TNA is still running, and hopefully they'll be running the same DVD sale they've run in the past few years, where it's $5 DVDs for the entire month, and you can keep up to date on your collection. I need the Bound for Glory for last year that I was highly featured in when I was sitting front row in my Hulk Hogan suit. I'll be really looking forward to picking that one up. And I believe there's 7 other pay-per-views that they've released in the last year that I need to pick up as well. But the first one is going to be A Time for Greatness, Bound for Glory 2005. This is the inaugural Bound for Glory show. This actually looks pretty good from looking at the back of it. You got the Jeff Jarrett versus Rhino with special guest referee Tito Ortiz. On the outside, you had a 10-man gauntlet to determine the next #1 contender for the championship. X Division Iron Man match, AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. Then you would go to International Showdown of Samoa Joe going up against Jushin Thunder Liger. And then you have a Monsters Ball match and a few other just randomized sort of singles and tags. From here we go to Bound for Glory. This would be 2006. You had Jeff Jarrett versus Sting going at it for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kurt Angle is your special enforcer on the outside. 6 Sides of Steel for the World Tag Team Championship. AJ and Christopher Daniels going up against LAX. 8 Mile Street Fight between Rhino and Christian Cage. And then Monsters Ball, Abyss, Samoa Joe, Runt, and Raven with Jake the Snake Roberts as your special guest referee. Go to the next one, Bound for Glory, 2007 with Kurt Angle and Sting going at it for the world title. You had Team Pac-Man going up against AJ Styles and Tomko for the World Tag Team titles. Team Pac-Man, probably one of the biggest fails in TNA history. They were really going after some mainstream publicity with ESPN and other things, using Pac-Man Jones during his NFL suspension. NFL stepped in and said due to his NFL contract that there would be no contact with Pac-Man, so basically he would be involved in the matches, throwing footballs at people, and he wasn't allowed to hit anybody, and he wasn't allowed to get hit. So it was a pretty big waste. R-Truth had to do all the work of the matches, so I'm hoping this is the one where they lost the titles and ended this. But then you go to Jay Lethal versus Christopher Daniels, Abyss, Raven, Rhino, and Black Rain in a Monsters Ball match. Samoa Joe versus Christian Cage with There Must Be a Winner. And you had Matt Morgan as your outside special enforcer. Tables match between the Steiner Brothers and Team 3D. From here we go to Bound for Glory 4. They must be really proud of this one because there's no matches listed on the back. Just looks like Samoa Joe versus Sting. And it looks like Angle versus Jeff Jarrett with Mick Foley as some sort of a special guest referee or an enforcer. Nothing really much on there, just saying that there's some guys featured. Then we go to Bound for Glory 2009. You got Sting's final curtain call. This must be the Bound for Glory that they did in Irvine down in Los Angeles. But TNA World Heavyweight Championship match, AJ versus Sting. Then you got Angle versus Matt Morgan, Bobby Lashley versus Samoa Joe in an MMA versus TNA match, Abyss versus Mick Foley in a Monsters Ball match. Then then what else? What else? Nothing really jumping off the card on that one. From there, we'll go to the 10-10-10 show. This was the big show where Jeff Hardy turned heel at Bound for Glory. It was Mr. Anderson versus Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight Tournament Finals. Then you go to a Lethal Lockdown, which was Fortune versus the ECW guys. Abyss versus Rob Van Dam in a Monsters Ball. 4-way for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Tara, and Madison Rayne. Mickey James comes and makes her TNA debut, being the special guest referee. You had the Young Bucks, Generation Me, going up against the Motor City Machine Guns to narrow out that card. But this is probably the most known as the Jeff Hardy heel turn with him joining Fortune. From there, we go to the Philadelphia show. This was Bound for Glory 2011. My buddy Danny was able to be at this show. And this was Hogan versus Sting in the main event. Even though it's not on the back. Oh, there it is. For Control of the Company. Hulk Hogan fights Sting. Then we go to Angle versus Bobby Roode. Of course, that was the Bound for Glory Series Finals the first year. Winter versus Mickey James versus Velvet Sky versus Madison Rayne. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels in an I Quit match. And then Falls Count Anywhere, Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray. A lot of people like these matches. Full Metal Mayhem. You got Rob Van Dam against Jerry Lynn in that one. And then this is the DVD they gave me last year when I went to Bound for Glory, as saying a thank you for buying the package. You got Rob Van Dam against Zema Ion for the X Division Championship. Magnus versus Samoa Joe for the World TV title. James Storm versus Bobby Roode in a very good street fight, probably the match of the night on this show. Joey Ryan against Al Snow, a part of the Gut Check Challenge, where Joey Ryan got so many percentage of the votes, but Al Snow basically gave him the vote to send him home, saying that he didn't deserve to be in TNA. Then you had Tara versus Tessmacher, Sting and Bully Ray versus Aces and Eights in a no DQ match. Bully Ray turned at Lockdown to join Aces and Eights, so it wasn't then. I don't remember what the whole thing was to hook you in on that match. Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries. After Jeff Hardy had won the Bound for Glory series. Of course, on this DVD, you'll also be featured the TNA Hall of Fame ceremony, where they inducted Sting as the first member of the Bound for Glory TNA Hall of Fame. So that's this. So that's your Bound for Glory series DVDs. If you're a big TNA fan, make sure you head on over to the Black November sale if it runs this year and pick these up, because you never know. That was my big hook last year. You never know how long these guys are going to be around, and you never know what's going to happen to these DVDs once the company closes. So check them out. Peace out, everybody.